the code itself up to a more modular, more modern rather, practice. And AirMet itself has changed from 3 processing stages to just 2. So just like in previous versions of AirMet, the first stage unpacks and QAs both the surface and upper air data for you. And then the second stage incorporates any 1-minute ASOS data you may have that came out of Air Minute. And it also then calculates the PBL parameters and as a final does a surface or SFC and PFL MET files. And I just got a note that says it's not recording. So just a minute, I apologize.
Hey, James, I'm recording it on my end, so don't worry about it.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. Sorry about that. So anyway,
Do they?
hello?
Do we don't need tables for the GC?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? Oh, okay. Never a dull moment. So the first stage of AirMet, the new one, unpacks QAs, the surface and upper air data, just like the old version of AirMet did. The second stage pulls in your ASOS data that you created in Air Minute, then it calculates the various PBL parameters, and finally writes the surface and profile MET files that can be used in AirMod. So now that we've gone from 3 stages to 2, there is no more merge part of AirMet. Also, surface station format of TD3280 is no longer supported as it is deemed obsolete. However, we have a new upper air data format called IGRA, or Integrated Global Radiosonde Archive. And so that is available to be processed through AirMet. Now some of the new EPA AirMet 22.112 options that are not supported in our current AirMet GUI. The new AirMet has the ability to process prognostic metadata that comes out of the mesoscale model interface, or MMIF. The keyword for that is prog. So this is not in our version of AirMet. Another item that's in there is a vector averaging. If you have an on-site station that records more than 1 observation per hour, AirMet will let you vector average the wind data. We did not have it in ours. There's also built in an ability to support a multi-year air surface run. Somebody needs to mute. I'm hearing myself. Anyway, are we all muted? There we go. Thank you. The new air surface, or the new AirMet and air surface, has the ability to do a multi-year air surface run where you can put in the parameters for every year and to get all in one air surface run. For what we have in our AirMet, you still have to do each of those individually, which was not that big of a difference or change. So having said that, though, we will probably add these features into a future version of our AirMet interface. So switching gears to AirMod, if you remember the previous version of AirMod 2.1.112, there was a bug that EPA later identified involving 2 bugs actually. One involving modeling NO2 background concentrations using the PVMRM technique. I believe what it was doing was double counting the background. And then there was another error in modeling buoyant line sources. And in that particular case, I forget what the circumstances were, but it would write you 0 concentrations, which is not good either. So anyway, in version 22112, EPA has fixed those bugs. One thing that has changed is the general reaction set method, or GRSM, which is an NO2 from NOx modeling technique, has been upgraded from an alpha option to a beta option in AirMod. And then there are some other new alpha options from AirMod that are available with Beast 12.09, and I'll just go through them right now. So there's another NO2, NO to NO2 conversion technique called the travel time reaction method, TTRM. It was alpha. It is still optional. There is an upgraded version of that called TTRM2, which is also alpha, but enables you to use TTRM with one of the other techniques like OLM or PVMRM. There are some alpha downwash options. There's one algorithm that the EPA Office of Research and Development put together. Keyword there is ORD_DWNW. And then one that came out of the AWMA's Prime Downwash Committee, and that's keyword AWMA DWNW. There's been more enhancements to the low wind part of AirMod, where you're trying to fix the over predictions in low wind speed. So EPA has the keywords you see listed there: SVMin, WSMin, brand max, etc. And then for R-line sources, there's another keyword called R-line FDH. Some of the alpha options that are in AirMod but are not going to be, or are not rather, in Beast 12.09 is the platform downwash algorithm, which came out of the OCD model, a new source type called SW point, a sidewashed point source, and as before, the R-line XT. And one enhancement that we made in Beast to fix a bug that we weren't aware of until fairly recently was that how our USF viewer displays the output summary files from AirMod, specifically AirMod 22112. We had a bug in the previous version of the viewer that truncated the name of the metadata file, so that if you took that sum file and exported it to Excel, for example, you would have only seen part of the met file name. So that has been fixed. Okay, so I'm going to pop out of this and show you what I've been talking about on the Beast changes. And first, actually, I'm going to go to AirMet. So if you can still see my screen, I hope you can. This is the new version of AirMet, or the new interface. And one thing to notice as you look across the top row of tabs here, there's no longer a merge tab. So as I said, AirMet's gone from 3 stages to 2, so there's no longer a need for a merge tab. And if you went and looked at the run tab, you'll see all we have is a run stage 1 and a run stage 2. Let me go to surface. There's no longer a 3280 in the drop-down list here. Most of the time, if there's processing data, you're only going to be using ISHD. But the 3280 was there. It's no longer there. If we go to the UA upper air tab and do the drop down for the file format there, you now see not just FSL, but this IGRA is in there as a new data format. Let me depart from that and go to Beast. And this is just I loaded our test case in here. And so if I go to the AER default tab, this is in control options. and the default setting is always default. If I select beta and go to the AERNO2 tab, it now says, oh, there's GRSM. It is a beta option, so I can select it and put in whatever inputs that it needs. Likewise, if I go back to AER default and select alpha, turn off beta, and go to AERNO2 again. So now there's TTRM and TTRM2 are now available to us. And if I go back to non-default, and now we have a little button here on the bottom right of this, which is a link to the alpha options. And we list them, just a summary of what they are here. And in fact, I got to be honest, I just noticed a couple of days ago that under CO options for alpha, we still had GRSM listed here. So this is an oversight. It's not alpha, it's beta. If we go to the alpha options button here, we've got the inputs. If you want to play with low wind, there's the selections that you do if you want to use the ORD downwash algorithm or the ADMA downwash algorithm, and then there's the R-line FDH. Okay, so let's close that. And so I'm not going to run the model. I've already done that. But if you're familiar with the test case, this ought to look really familiar. It's our handy little small building with a stack next to it. I've plugged it in and I've run it with 5 years of metadata. And if I look at the graphic output, this hasn't really changed, but it just says here's where the maximum concentration is. And this happened to be fourth highest max daily. If I go to the USF viewer, and that's the same file right there, test case 2017-2021. There's the 78.8, which corresponds to the red number you see right there. And I scroll this over, there's the MET file. And if I were to export that to Excel, this is what it looks like. And now it just gives you the actual name of the MET file. It does not include the path. It doesn't truncate anything. So we did fix that problem from before. So with all that being said and done, I will stop the presentation now. I think that's it. And if anybody has any questions, we'll be happy to take them right now. No questions? Okay. Do want to apologize for the technical glitches as we were starting out on this. We have recorded it, and it will be posted to our website either later today or early next week. And you can see it on the providenceoris.com website. If you have any questions or comments, you see my name and the email address and phone number on there. Feel free to reach out. And if there are no comments or questions, thank you very much for attending, and y'all have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Thank you.